Hi, I'm Amir. I do photography as a hobby, and today I'll be reviewing the Canon T2i. So to begin with, I bought this Canon T2i Rebel off of Craigslist for $400. Typically the retail goes for $515, but nowadays you could probably pick up a T2i Rebel for a little under $250, and it makes a really good bang for a buck for just a DSLR camera if you want to get into photography. So I bought mine not with this lens that it currently has, but rather the kit lens shown here. This is an 18-55mm lens, and this is typically a standard that you get on all DSLR cameras. The lens that I currently have is a 50mm, and this is a really great upgrade for this camera if you decide to go that way. And I also had to buy a separate SD card shown here. Mine's a 16 GB. You can pick these up off of Amazon for really cheap for, I don't know, I paid $20 for mine, which is just cheap, and you get a whole bunch of them if you really need a lot of storage. So the T2i is an entry-level camera. It has a 1.6 crop sensor. It has interchangeable lenses, as shown here. Its battery, they don't take the standard, not the standard AA batteries, which tend to drain, very quickly, but rather it's a cartridge battery that goes in the bottom of the camera. You can recharge these. The Canon T2i is probably in Canon's lineup maybe in the middle of the entry-level cameras, so it's a great camera if you want to start off photography. It's got a whole bunch of modes, as seen here on the control dial, an on-off switch, ISO control button. You can attach a hot shoe. It's got a hot shoe mount, which basically means you can attach little accessories like a flash unit onto it if you want to. You can record video with it, which is a big thing because a lot of cameras that came before the Canon T2i, both on the Canon Nikon lineup, they didn't have video taking capabilities, so that's a huge plus. You can do HD videos, 720p, 180p, so something like this could come handy if you're making YouTube videos and you want really, really good quality and resolution. Or perhaps you just want to get into video making and you don't want to buy an expensive video making camera, so you pick one of these that also does photos. So it's got a 3-inch screen on the back. Considering using it, it's pretty straightforward. You can find lots of articles online on how to use it. So turn it on right here. On. I'll put it on to auto mode, which is the green square. And basically in auto mode, if you don't plan on using any of the custom modes like AV, TV, P, or manual, it's basically the easy mode on the DSLR where you just basically point and take a photo. Simple as that. A lot of the times these DSLR cameras look intimidating to use, but honestly, like the T2i, it's not very intimidating compared to using a simple point and shoot that you might have had previously. So, another thing I forgot to mention is this camera does already have a built-in flash. So we can deploy it by clicking the button here on the side. It's got a scroll wheel if you want to scroll through the photos right here. For instance, you can just scroll through some of the photos taken recently. Very easy to do. So to scroll through photos, very easy. You hit this play button. And it's hard to see on the camera, but you basically go left and right here with these two buttons. You basically go through all of your photos. With my 16 GB memory card that I currently have in here, I could probably store 1,000 JPEG photos, which is a lot. And if you decide that you want to proceed further with this camera and start playing with its custom modes like manual, AV, TV, you can adjust the shutter speed, the aperture value, the ISO values of this camera. So basically, what you can get with this camera, it does the same thing as one of Canon's higher end cameras, like the 5D for instance. But the thing is, I'm not saying that the 5D is the same value as the T2i, but the 5D just makes things easier to do if you want to go full blown custom modes of photography and stuff, but it's just very like entry level. I'd recommend this to really anyone, even like someone that really doesn't know a thing about cameras, and it's just very easy to use. And like I said, I recommend it to everybody. And as this is a T2i and it's 2015, this camera was released in 2010, so it's already 5 years old. And because it's 5 years old, it's a little bit outdated. And it's not to say that I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but Canon's already on their T6i, and this is a T2i, so it goes to show how many cameras are released after this one, which all had slight improvements like higher ISO, quicker shutter speeds, but really to the average photographer really doesn't mean anything. And this camera, for $250 if you pick it up secondhand, which I'm sure you can, it's a really great value. So I recommend this camera to everybody, and thank you for watching my review. Thank you.